No, I'm gonna be honest, the Essence is definitely up there as one of the best drivers that you can get in this game, regardless of your skill level. And the Zen 2 is no exception. Coming in their amazing metaplastic and their sick stamp configurations, this is definitely a driver to get. But there is one thing about this driver that might make this not the best option for your game. So let's talk about it. Also, I feel like this might not get as much love as it deserves. I mean, granted, the Discmaniacs are crazy about this disc. I'm pretty sure. Correct me in the comments if I'm just off base and not really. But I feel like a lot of the pros, they use this disc as like a roller type disc and it's understable. So a lot of people are kind of like turned off by it and don't really go for it because of that. But this is a very good disc. Like, you should not look over it because it might be a roller for a pro. Because the feel of it feels really, really nice. It's a great understable driver feel in the hand. The plastic feels really good. It's a little stiffer than the normal Evolution neoplastic. Like, even in this cold, like that stiff, the neoplastic still is a little soft when the meta is definitely a lot stiffer. But it's the feel that gets me, which is a little bit weird for me. You see, most people in this spot like having a smaller rim. So something like a T-Bird width or a Maverick or Leopard type disc, or maybe like a Patriot from Legacy, which Patriots, they're so underrated, but if you know, you know. Anyways, these Zen 2s and Essences, they definitely have a comfortable rim, don't get me wrong. And the numbers on them is an 8-speed, but when you grab it in your hand, it definitely feels a lot faster. So while something like a Maverick or a T-Bird feels like a fairway driver, even when you get the T-Bird 3 that is technically an 8-speed, still feels like a fairway driver. Same with like an Undertaker type disc. But these Zen 2s almost feel like an understable distance driver. Even though it has a smaller rim, it has that distance driver feel, which feels really nice. You look at it, and it looks like a slightly understable disc. It has a very comfortable rim. But that distance driver feel might turn some people off to them because they want that fairway driver feel, and that kind of lends into the flight. But just really quick, I don't know if you noticed, but Apollo Disc Golf First Run merch, we just got it in, so if you pre-ordered those should be shipping out either today or they shipped out yesterday. And we have some extras at apollodiscgolf.com, including a lot of new releases from various different companies, including the Zen from Discmania. So you want to check that out. That is the best way to support this channel, is shopping at apollodiscgolf.com. Thank you for all of you who shop there. It means the world to me. So let's get into the flights. Now, the flight of this disc is very, very nice. It is just a flip up might turn a little bit for you before it comes back at the end. It's definitely like an understable, workable fairway driver. But with that rim, kind of like how I said it, it's more like a slower distance driver rather than a straight fairway driver. It definitely feels like that in its flight. Like, it feels like a slow distance driver, which some of you might like that. You might like the feeling of it being like faster than a fairway driver, being more like a 9-speed in terms of feel and flight. But some of you might want, like, out of your understable fairway driver, you might want a slower, more controllable driver, something like a beat up T-Bird or Leopard or Maverick type disc. Because once it gets a little bit faster and it's understable, it gets a little bit more squirrely. You might lose a little bit of confidence in terms of like your control of that understable driver. But when you get it right, this Essence just goes and goes and goes and goes. It is so good, and it is a great driver to learn for when you're like a beginner. Like, it's flippy enough. Like, it's a little less overstable than the Era, so it's like a flippy Era. It might be a touch slower, but it's close to that in terms of like how it feels in terms of flight, but it definitely gives you more of like a fairway driver distance. It's hard to explain. You just have to try it. It's really good though. And the other thing that this disc is great at, which I don't think enough players really know about or do a whole lot, is just like nice sweeping hyzer lines. Like, there was one hole that was about like 330 feet way left, but the gap was like dead straight. You almost had to throw right of the tee pad before you go left, and that was like the perfect hole for this disc. Like, you throw it on a deep hyzer, have it pop up, but still like not pop up flat, but pop up on that angle, and have it ride to the left the whole way. It's It was amazing, and I ended up putting it like 10 feet, 15 feet from the basket and getting a 2 on it. That is the perfect shot for this disc. If you don't have that shot in your bag, like, you need it. Like throwing understable discs on deep hyzers, having them pan all the way to the left, it is, a lot of people see that hole and think overstable. No, it's understable. Trust me. Now in terms of this Zen compared to like a stock Essence, I would say the Zen is like a touch more stable. It was really hard to tell though, and I'm talking like a little bit more stable, if that. Now it's definitely a stiffer and nicer feeling plastic, and you get a support Nate Perkins when you buy them, but it's not like a dramatic difference between the two. But I would say like the Zen is definitely a little bit more domey than my Essence that I have, and I would say it's a little bit more stable. But again, that's like, if I could throw farther, like if you could throw these over 400 feet, I'm sure you can see a difference. So I'm sure the pros would be able to see a difference. Like when I'm throwing them about like 315 to about 330-ish. So I'm not, the Zens might be a little bit more stable, maybe. And when comparing it to my Maverick, I actually, like the Maverick was a lot more understable than the Essence. Like the Essence could actually take some power. Like if you didn't throw it clean, it would definitely still flip over. But I could almost, like one of the uphill holes, I could throw it flat and it would still turn for me, but it wouldn't turn and burn. Like it held enough and stabled out at the end to like land flat. So it was pretty amazing, to be honest. But yeah, let me know what you think. Are you one of the disc maniacs that have just been waiting so long for the Zen 2, or have you not tried an Essence yet? Let me know in the comments. And I'll have the link in the description where you can pick one of these up, or I'll have it right here. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.